Hey everyone, this is Dan, co-creator of Arium. It's nice to be back making another video. We've made a lot of, I made a video sometime last year with a much earlier version of the product. The product's come a long way since then, and the editing tools are much more powerful and easier to use, and I'm really excited to show you all the new things that are possible to do in Arium and are much more accessible to anyone who wants to create a live, unique experience that expresses their own work or expresses themselves. So here we are in the portal space. I'm really excited to show you all this in case you haven't seen it yet. This is kind of like the start of us thinking about connecting all of the spaces that people are creating into a giant network. I mean, we're going to see how that goes, but this is kind of just a little experiment. What we did here is we put together some of the nicest crypto art focused experiences in Arium together in a single accessible place. And all of these on both the left and the right side are portals that can take you to see any of the experiences that have been created. One thing to notice, all these experiences that have been created using our editing tools, whatever version they were, sometimes by us, sometimes by the people that were making these spaces for themselves, sometimes in collaboration between us and the people hosting these spaces. So if you're in this portal space, which you can access by going to arium.xyz spaces portal, you can just walk through any of these doors and get transported into another world created by someone. So this is the Pupila Dilatada space, which is the psychedelic crypto art show created by a group of Brazilian artists showing artwork exhibited on Tezos. And I'm going to go in here, and you can see this world. I'm going to go up, and then if I go back through this portal thing, I will get back into the main space, the main portal space. And yeah, you should just have fun exploring all these different worlds and seeing what's possible for inspiration. This is like actually the first place I'd recommend going. Great, so now I'm going to show you how to create your own Arium space. So Arium is currently on a private wait list where we're slowly inviting people to create their own spaces as we make the tools better and make them more accessible to a wider audience. But if you want an invite to create a space, you could either just go to the homepage and fill out the form here, or you can join our Discord or just contact us, and we're giving away invites more liberally right now. So just reach out to us, and yeah, we'll send it to you. And then you will get an invite. Once you get an invite, you will get a link in your email. So once you get an invite to create a space, it'll take you to, you'll get either an email or it'll send you a link, and it'll take you to a page like this. And it'll ask you to create an account. Currently, we only allow Google or Twitter and email. Soon we're going to be allowing MetaMask and Tezos login. But for now, this is what we have. So you can sign up with either of these three. So once you've registered, you'll get taken to this page where you can start creating a space. You can start with either an empty space or with a template. And we're going to start with the template because that's going to be what most people are going to want. So once you choose a template, so you can first of all, before you even choose a template, you can click on any of these and you can browse what they're going to look like. That's going to be empty. And then I choose this thing, and I want to choose a space ID and a password. Now, you generally don't really need a password unless you want to block people from accessing it. So this is basically going to be the URL that your space is going to exist at. So if I do my home test space for now, that's what your URL is going to be if that people are going to access your space. You cannot change that unless you message us. We're working on making you change it, but for now that is fixed. But don't worry, with your invite you can create up to 3 spaces. So I create this space, and to take me to, now this is my space. Now this is the link for my space, and I'm going to go visit it. This is the current URL, the name of it, which I'll show you how to change later. When you enter a space, right now it asks for webcam and microphone access. We're eventually going to make it so that you can enter without granting your camera access. I know a lot of people don't want to, especially if you're adding in a space, there's no need to do that. So I've entered the space, and here I am. Now, one thing to notice, the space is live. That means I can invite someone else to join the space with me. And they will see me there, and they can actually watch me as I build the space live. So I'm going to join this space. There I am. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to add content. So to get into the editor mode, I either hit the letter T, which I just did, or I can click on edit the space up here. And to add something, I'll go to this add thing. I'm going to show you most of these elements, but for now, I'm going to show you basically just how to add an image to the wall. So if I press here, you will see that this image has been added to the wall, and there's a border, and there's a frame. So it's sticking up against the wall. I'll show you how to edit that later. So let's say I want to change what the image is there. I would basically just take this image and say drop it into here. It's going to upload it, and it's going to be rendered here. It's that easy. Then what I could do is I can actually move this image around by dragging any of these things. And I'm going to show you more about transformation later. I have complete control over where it is, and what's nice is it's flush against this wall with the frame. Great. Now let's say I want to add a video. So I'm going to click on this video thing, and then I'm going to click on this wall here. And I'm going to show you how to upload a video. Let's see, this is a smaller one, so I'm going to upload it here. It's going to take a bit of time to upload it because it's 18 megabytes. Just generated the thumbnail, and there it is. Okay, make it bigger. That's me doing a sound recording. The way videos work is when you look at them, they play. When you look at them, they stop playing, and they show the thumbnail. Now, the thumbnail by default is selected from the first frame of the video. What if I want the thumbnail to be shown from another frame? So I would just go to Advanced, and I could change the time in seconds of the thumbnail. So let's say I wanted the thumbnail to come up from the 5th second. It's going to just load the new one. And now when I look away, that should be the thumbnail that's showing. I'm not sure why it isn't. Let me turn it off and on. There it is. Okay, sometimes you have to turn things off and off for their effects to take effect. So as you can see, that is the thumbnail that shows up when that video is not playing. But when I look at it, it starts playing. So there's a couple other things you can control with the video that I'm going to show you. So right now, the video only plays when you are looking at it, but I could also have it automatically play. So if I want to have it play all the time, I would go to basically this advanced settings, and I would go down to this, I would open this advanced video playback settings, and I would choose autoplay. And now the video is always going to play whether or not I'm looking at it. Now this is an okay setting if you have 1 or 2 videos in the space. So the moment you start having like 10 or 5 or even anything more than 5, then if you have all the videos playing at the same time, it's going to destroy everyone's computer. The space is going to really slow. So it's generally desired to not have the videos always play and to have a thumbnail show when someone's not looking at it. So generally it's recommended having autoplay turned off. Now there's another setting that's actually really interesting, which is really useful if, let's say, you have a video that's like a minute or 2 minutes long or even 10 minutes long, and you want multiple people that are viewing the video in the same space to view it from the same position, so that it's not like a weird experience that like someone's viewing the first second and another person sitting next to you and they're viewing the 30th second. So you would check this box to make sure that the time is synchronized. So let's test it out. So I have this one tab. I'm going to go in here with another tab. And you can see that this, let me mute myself so I don't hear myself feedback, but you can see that the video position is actually synchronized for both of my sessions, which is pretty cool. We do that with some underlying magic. If I didn't have that checkbox checked, then what would it look like? Let me go down here. Our UX is still kind of rudimentary. Let's make this bigger so you can just see it. Let me close this for a second. And so I uncheck that box, then if I reload this page here, see they're seeing it at a different time. And if I check it, now these become synchronized. Pretty cool. Now another thing I'm going to show you, so I'm going to show you another really cool feature we have, which is the ability to have curved screens for any video. So let's say I'm going to add a video that's maybe a little bit wider over here. So I'm going to add here another video here. This is going to be slightly wider format video. Oops, I added an image, let me add a video. Just loading this thing. So let's make this a lot bigger. This is an awesome clip from our Pupila Dilatada experience. Let me first delete this thing here. Just found it in the content tree. Let me unselect this and then select that one. I'm going to show you deleting in a second. But so let's say I have this big video here, and I scale it up. I move it up against the wall, and then what I could do is actually go down here and I can curve it. So if I go to advanced and play geometry and I choose curved, then I can make it like a curved screen, which is pretty damn cool. This is really useful if you have like a really wide, like really big video, really wide video, which I think a lot of people have, or a lot of people are starting to make like really wide format video. You can have it actually, they move it up against the, away from the wall. And now I can be like in the middle of this, looking at like a cool curved screen. Cool. Now here's another thing you can control with the sound. So you see there's like the volume has a certain level. Let me actually go to my other video, which has nicer sound because of the way it's recorded. So let's say I go to this video here. I can actually choose how loud it's going to play by every video uses positional audio. So the farther away from it, the quieter it gets. But I can make the distance. We want to actually make this a slider. It's just not there yet. If I make the distance that the sound travels, this is basically in meters. And this is some weird. We're going to expose this as a slider eventually. But just think about the distances, how loud this takes. So if I make this 10, the video is going to be a lot louder. Say 20. You know, I can make it 40. And then you can hear the sound from all over. It's not playing right now because it's not an autoplay and I'm too far away, but let me just make it autoplay and you'll hear it. So I'm all the way back here. I can still hear it. If it was using the settings from before, I'd only be able to hear it if I got close to it. Great. So those are basically, that's how a lot of settings you can control with videos and images. With images, you should be able to make it curved. Yes, images you can also make curved, which is cool. So I'm gonna just go here. This is like a curved image. Also with curve, you can curve it horizontally and vertically. So if you have like a really tall thing that you want to curve, you can curve it vertically, which is cool. Let's move it out a little bit. Okay, so I actually think it's worth going over some basic controls of editing something in the space. So of just moving stuff around. As you saw, I could like freely move stuff around. You have complete control to put anything wherever you want in your space. You're not limited to like a specific point of the wall. Images can be against the wall, free floating. And the way you, let's make it a plane again, just for simplicity. The way you move stuff around is you can select anything in the content tree here, and then you can either translate, rotate it, or scale it. So as you see, I'm in transfer mode. This is going to move things in this direction. If you want to edit the values to make them exact, you can do it up here. I can select this video here. Something's wrong with the selection right now, which we need to fix. There's always little bugs coming up because there's a lot of stuff you can do here. But basically, this thing, I can move this around. I should be able to select this. I don't know why that's not working. And then I would be able to scale it if I want to. So this scale button, you should always generally just select these to scale it uniformly. If you do it like this, it's going to stretch in like a certain direction, which you generally don't want. And you can undo any of these changes with this. You can undo pretty much any change by pressing the undo button, which is great. You know, even going back, I could go back to when it was a curve. Let's get back there to when it was a curve. I think it's undoing all the sound changes I did. It'd be nice if it showed you what changes you're undoing. But anyways, I can scale something here. I can rotate it in any direction. Let me undo those changes so it's flush against the wall. I can scale it and rotate it. And if I wanted to, I can edit the value. So if I want to make it back to its original scale, then that's fine too. And yeah, so basically you have the freedom to move everything where you want. And then as far as moving around, you have basically two ways you can move around when you're in edit mode. You can either use the first person controls, which is WASD, or you can use the orbit controls, which will let you basically fly freely. So if I change to orbit controls, now when I click and drag, I'm like can fly around. So I basically can click and fly around anywhere in the space. And let me close this for a second. I can, let me unselect that element. Let me just unselect it. I can fly around anywhere, which is cool. And then you press right click and you can pan and zoom. And when you, so this is a nice way to just be able to freely fly around and edit anything and actually see what your space looks at from afar. And then when I press this button, this will return me back to where I was. The first person controls, no matter where I was. Cool. So that's kind of basic controls and navigation. And also just another thing, when you are flying, everyone else is going to see you flying around too, which can be kind of fun. Now, what if I want to add a placard, like a descriptive text? So what I can do is I can add, let's say, a placard here. And this is like the text, and I can put whatever, this is a text box. It is nice to read. I unselect it, and that's there. I can scale this up if I want to. Some nice settings you can do. Let's say I make this one line. And we are are going to read it all day long. So right now this text box got really big, but if I set a max width to 1, then the text is going to wrap, and it's going to be max width, and I can actually make the text align right, center, or left. Let's add another text box here, another placard here, another set of text I think you should read. Let's make it 1. Great. So now I have this text here. Let's actually move this under here because I want to show you what happens with theming. And here's another cool thing I'm going to show you, which is called theming. So let's say I have a certain style that I want to apply everywhere. I'm going to actually make this not full screen. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I can actually make the frames appear the same everywhere. So let me make this fit the same screen. So I basically have to go to, I hit T, I go to click this thing, open the advanced editor. That's going to open, this thing. Let me actually hide my bookmarks bar. 1 second. Okay, so this is going to open like this kind of advanced editor thing. So then if I go to theme, I can actually change, let's close this for a second. I can actually change, make the frames bigger for everything. So if I make the frame border 0.05, these should all have a, let's make the frame white so you see it. You can see everything here has a white frame, which is pretty cool. That's this size. I can make the depth 0.4, let's say 0.5. And what's cool is that this has a bigger box. Also what's cool is that it sticks out from the wall. So even if I make the frame like bigger, it's all just going to be from the back of the wall. So you don't have to worry about like moving it around when the frame gets bigger or not. I could do the same thing for placards. And I can change the font color to be black. I can change the box color to be white. And I can change the font to be bigger. Or smaller. And you see that the placard style apply everywhere. I can, let's say, make the font red. And now everywhere the placard styles apply. So that's kind of like a cool way to do theming. You can also override it for individual elements. So let's say I choose this thing. I can actually, if I want to, let's say this one, I can like make the font color red for just this one, and it won't apply to all of them. Now once you apply something, unfortunately, it'll overwrite the theme automatically, so you can't go back and have it use the theme elements. So this is like a thing we'd like to make better in the future, to be able to like, you know, change it for one and then be able to go back to the theme default. So if you see now, if I change the theme of the placard to like, let's see, the box color to be yellow, it's not going to apply to the original one because I've overwritten the default theme settings. Now I'm going to show you how to add other kinds of elements into the space. So let's say I add a 3D model here. Right? And let me, then what I would do is I would add a, let's say I have this model file here. This is like one of the portal models I had from before. And then this is that portal element. Very simple 3D model that I've added. Go around it. Now, sometimes we accept GLB models for 3D models, but right now, only GLB models, and there's a whole other video on how to do 3D modeling for Arium and how to make your own 3D model assets. But let's say you want to upload an existing asset. This would be a 3D model. Now sometimes 3D models have animations, so you just go to animation settings and you click animated, and you'll see now this thing is animating. It has the animations built into the format. You can even, what's cool is you can even make the animations slow down or speed up, so I can make it go really slowly. I can make it go really fast. Remove the transform mode. I can make it go really slowly. I can even make it go in reverse, which you can't really see now. You can see just kind of in other kind of animation things. Cool. And just like the other ones, you can also make these interactable, so you can make it so that, let's make the math click distance like 20. You can make it so that this shows some info when open the modal. So let's see that in action. And that opens the modal. That can obviously like be a link to another space. What else can I add? So I can also add a terrain, which I'll show another time. I can add a screen share, which is cool. This is basically like a screen share, and now I can, if I close here, I can click on this and I can actually share this, my current window here, which is cool, what I'm currently seeing. And to stop screen sharing, let's say I can also share with audio if it is Google Chrome. So if I do share tab audio, that's going to share the audio from the current tab. It's a good way for sharing music live. So now I'm going to show you how you can place NFTs on the wall. So to place an NFT, you would basically open this menu and you would add an NFT. Now, in an ideal situation, we would let you log in with your Web3 wallet and it would load them automatically. We're working on that. It's not out yet. So for now, you have to manually input the information. It's just you should only show NFTs that you own, or that you're the creator of, or that you've given permission to show. I know it's impossible to enforce it, but that's just kind of the general unspoken word. So let's say I have this NFT on the wall. I can go then to my OpenSea, and let's say this is basically to add NFT, you need to know the token address and token ID. Well, the token address is going to be here, and the token ID is going to be here. So it's 444, so just remember that, and then the token ID is there. It's loaded the token. Oh, that's the wrong address. It failed to load the token. As you can see the error there. This is the token address. Just gonna load it, give it a second. Sometimes it can take some time the first time. So I'm going to add an NFT here. And load that token. Next, I'm going to, and this is, by the way, an artwork by Damon Davis on Foundation, and I think it was the first NFT I bought. It's a great piece of artwork, and the artist is great. You should look him up. And you can see everything's been inputted. And one thing that's nice is that all the information on the placard is generated. Now what I'm going to do is add a Tezos NFT. So I'm going to click this here, and I'm going to go to Tezos. And Hicketnunk is most commonly known. Otherwise, you can put in a custom contract address. This is kind of like hard to figure out. Again, we're going to have Tezos login soon, so it'll be much easier to do that. But let me go grab the token ID so I can go to like any of my, let's see, my own NFTs. This is my own tokens or OBJKTs from Tezos. So this is going to be this token ID. I put it into here. Oops, that's the wrong URL. This is the right URL. It's going to load it. There we go, and that token's been loaded. Addition, all the information is there. And one thing you notice, I can click on any of these and it'll open the full resolution video as well as the original file in OBJK. Sometimes it takes an object.com. I don't even know how you pronounce it. Sometimes it takes a while to load the original file from IPFS. Let's add another one here. Let's just do for another NFT that I own. Let's do this one. This is Pineal Serpent by Yara Floresta. I discovered this during Hicketnunk. I'm going to put this token ID. There we go. And that's there. Cool, so I have these three things, and then I can show you with theming, I can change the look and feel of everything. So let's say I want to have everything have a white frame. What I would do is I would go to the theme settings. So I'm going to open the advanced editor and actually open it side by side so you can see everything. So if I go to the theme, let me close this. If I go to, so now if I go to the theme over here, I can change all the video images frames to be, let's say, white. You can't see it, but I could give them actually a little bit of a frame. And now all these things have a frame and it's shared among everyone. I can make it even bigger. I can then say all the placards, I want them to be white text. Actually, let's do first. I want the placards to have a black box. And then the fonts will all be white. And now you can see, which is cool, is like these all have now white fonts. And another thing that's nice is I can make the boxes bigger. So let's say I can make the frames 0.4. Now everything comes out of the wall further. Let's make it back. I can make the frame black so it looks more organic. Can make the border a little bit bigger. Now you can see these all have kind of like a little black box you can't really see. So let's say I can make all the frames white. And now all these things have a nice little white frame. And then for the font also, I can change the color to be red if I wanted to, or white. I can make all the fonts bigger. Or smaller. Here's actually another thing that's nice is generally you want all these fonts to be the same size. So let's say even if I scale up this placard, this artwork, do that. when you enter the space, there's like this welcome message here that comes in. There's a few things. There's the welcome message, there's a space name, and then there's this welcome message and the space name. And what if you want to change that? So I would go to the space settings and I would change this like Dan's experience gallery. I'd save it. If I reload the game, you'll see Dan's experiential gallery. There's a description, and I feel like this is Dan's gallery. Have fun exploring. And so now you saw that was there. And then there's one other thing. This is the metadata image, and this is what's going to appear when someone shares it on social. So I actually change the image that is used. So I don't know why it's capturing the sound, but basically that's how I want the new image to be like this, or this new artwork that I had. Just gotta reload it. Sometimes there's a bug there, but that should be the new image. Let's say now I have this URL and I want to share it. If I go to, let's say, share it in Discord, that image will show up, which is nice. So that's how kind of you can set the metadata image. The next thing is what you could do is you can add a portal. Now a portal actually lets you connect multiple spaces together, which is really nice. The first one I'm going to show is, let's say I have another space. So let's go and go back to arium.xyz/myspaces, and I want to create another space. Let's start with this one is my second space. Delete this. Creating a space. Cool. Now what I can do is I can now add a portal to the other one. So if I click add a portal to here, let's say I want to add it there. Cool, and I say I want that to go to, I choose the portal. I want to choose, the portal should go to another space. So you can actually have portals either go transport you somewhere within the current space or to another one. I'm going to say to another space. And the only things that come up are going to be I can basically say I want to transport to that other space. And the only options that are available are spaces that I have access to, that I can edit. So if I choose this one, I can exit this, and I should be able to walk on this portal. It takes me to this other space. And I can see, I should be able to see the other copy of myself somewhere. Which is where, let's find the other me. There I am. With portals, there's more options, like I could make it invisible so it's not hidden, so you can't see it. So let's say it's invisible, it could be like an invisible thing that takes me somewhere. Oops, it took me to this other thing. Let me make it visible again. Where is it? There it is, it's visible. So it could be like a hidden thing. You can also make it like take you somewhere, wherever you want, target position. So let's make it like 1,000. I don't know, it's gonna take me up really high up, and I'm gonna fall from the sky. And this is basically going to say where it's going to transfer to. So let's say I go here, I go in the space. Oops, now I'm really high up. I'm falling from the sky. It's going to eventually land on the ground if I ever make it. Where did I go? I missed land. There I am. So I just landed on the rooftop. So that could also be a way to like take someone to the rooftop or something if you don't have stairs. So let's show you some other stuff. So now you have this, now I'm going to show you basically how you can take this template and kind of make it customized to be exactly how you want. So right now, you know, this is a bright sky. one thing I can do is actually, so first of all, what I could do is I can, let's say I don't like these windows. I can actually, this is actually part of the template here, this theme. I can just say take these windows in frames, which here, and I can actually turn them off. And everything's kind of like more open. I no longer have the thing. And what's cool is like with our templates, they're all kind of modular, so you can take certain elements on or off, and now everything looks very, very different. It's like a more open, like minimal space. And I just have an open sky. Everything in your space is modifiable. So let's say I have this water here. I can actually change the style of the water. So I have this water selected. It's not so visible here. If I go from, it's because it's locked actually. If I go out here, I can see that there's this line here. It's kind of hard to see, but I can basically change the style of what this water looks like. So if I select this water here, I can make the color like lighter, and now it looks more natural. I can make it less reflective, and now it's kind of going to show there's like actually a thing here, like a ground below this, which now you can see, or I can make it, you know, more reflective. And also what's cool is since everything's transformable, I can actually, maybe I want to lower this thing and make the water lower, make it more like a pool that's like a thing. So now I can go into here, and now it's lower, and now this is like a little stadium or a little pool. And that even changed the outside. Now there's like more of a stair when you approach the building, which is kind of cool. I guess making it less reflective now makes it like absorb more of the sky. Other cool stuff you can do with water is you can, let's move it back up to where it was. I can actually undo those changes and it'll come back up. Yeah. So one thing you can do with water is you can like make the scale smaller, and now it's going to go more, you know, less rippled, or I can make the scale bigger. That's like the scale of the water effect, and then I can make the flow speed like slower or faster. I can make it flow slower or faster. And that's a really nice looking water effect. And another great thing you can do is you can actually change, let's say you don't like what the skybox is. So another great thing you can do is you can change what the skybox is. So if I go back to the advanced settings, which again you can get from pressing T and you click open advanced editor, and I go to environment, it's going to have this like skybox file. I can choose, we have a bunch of presets like these ones. This is like some backgrounds that we provide. I can choose this like really saturated sky, which is like really interesting. And now the space is very dark, so maybe I want to have more lighting. So in that case, I might want to turn up the ambient light intensity, and there's like the whole amount of lighting goes up. Or I might want to add like a point light here in the middle. Let's say I add it here. Let's move it more towards me. And let's make it a point light. And now you can see this whole space is a little bit brighter. It's still dark because like the whole space is dark, but I have a little bit more lighting in here. Now let's say I want to, oh, then there's one other thing you might want to do, and that is to turn on environment mapping. So when I chose that, if I actually choose enable environment mapping, what environment mapping is going to do is it's going to actually have like the scene reflected on the building. So it's going to like absorb the colors of the sky, and this can be like a nice way to get like a nice glowing effect, as you can see here. You see if I turn off the environment mapping, it's just dark, and now environment mapping on is going to like reflect the sunshine, which is really cool. And now I have like a really nice looking effect here. You can also, if you want to upload your own HDRIs, you can get any HDRI from, if you choose the custom tab, make sure if you uncheck environment mapping, you see it's dark, but if you choose environment mapping from Skybox file, you'll see that it is very bright. And you can even like upload a separate environment map if you wanted to, but generally like this is what you want to do. and you can actually upload another HDRI map. Let's say Adobe Stocks has a bunch of HDRI, so I can take like any HDRI image from their website and I can upload it to here, and you will see now that it's a night sky now, and now my scene looks completely different. I have like a night sky here. This is like kind of an extreme skybox. These are all from like Adobe Stock, or if you can even make your own HDRIs. But basically, let's try this one. I don't know what this one's going to be like. Yeah, it's like a night sky, which is kind of cool. The next thing I'm going to show you is how you can customize the lighting. So the scene, this template comes by default with, let me actually move everything and into one thing so it's less confusing. The building comes with, with a single light, this template, and that is what's called a directional light. Now if I fly out from here, it's basically a directional light is like a sunlight that shines from far away, and it can be used for casting night shadows. So that sunlight's coming from up there. So basically right now this light is like kind of creating this thing here. If I turn it off, you can see the effect. So that light is kind of like shining through the thing, and it is kind of casting a shadow here. If I make it brighter, you can see it has more of an effect. And that's basically a directional light, is like a light that comes from the distance. One thing I can do is actually I can like rotate it and make it kind of like appear at a different spot. Now it's not so visible because it's being blocked in this room. And now it's like more of like a horizontal light. And you can see here that it's kind of shining really brightly out here. More horizontal angle, more like a sunlight. Now it's like here I can see it, but then if I move it that way, then the light's going to be kind of creating these little things here. It's not so visible because the floor is dark. So that's a directional light. This one has a shadow turned on. You generally don't want to have a lot of shadows turned on in your space. The next thing, another kind of light you can add is called a point light. I'll show you here. So a point light, a spotlight is a light in a specific angle. So I'm going to take this, it shines at a specific area. So I'm going to actually take this, going to rotate it and have it face the wall. And what I could do is I can actually make the angle smaller. And now it's like shining on this wall, and I can make it more intense. I can change the color to be whatever color I want. So you have complete control. You can make a red light. Just don't add too many of these, because it can like make your space really slow for people. And then I can also do a thing like a penumbra where like the edges are going to be soft. So now I have this kind of light shining through here on this wall. Let me bring it closer to the wall. That's a spotlight. So one other form of light this can be is a point light, and a point light is a light that emits in every direction. So if I have this point light, you see it's going to kind of like illuminate the whole room, and that's like a light that's like goes somewhere and like shines equally in every direction. Now you can see now this light is a lot more lit up, and it's depending on the intensity. And again, I can make this like any color I want. I can make this like a red light. I can make it a yellow light. You have complete control. I'm not going to go so much into these settings today, but this is kind of like how you can add a little point light that shines in every direction.